The Spurs are legitimately building a dynasty. They already have a 7'5" demigod. They've got back-to-back NBA Rookies of the Year, and now they've got the number 2 overall pick in an absolutely stacked up draft class, not to mention a second lottery pick down the line. And yeah, this team is going to be scary going forward. But the big question is, do they take Dylan Harper at 2? Do they trade number 2 for a guy like Giannis? Or do they take someone else at 2, not named Dylan Harper, because they have a loaded point guard room with De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle? There really isn't a wrong answer here, and looking back at teams that have decided to draft for fit at number 2 instead of taking the best player, and that's how the Sacramento Kings ended up taking Marvin Bagley over Luka Doncic. Now, I'm not saying Dylan Harper is Luka Doncic, but he's got to be the number 1 option here at number 2. He's got to be the number 2 overall pick in this draft because he is so dang good. On the season, he put up 19.4 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.4 steals in 33 minutes, while shooting 48% from the field and 33% from 3 on about 5.2 attempts. A really solid season for Dylan Harper. Now, the 3-point efficiency is questionable, but hey, he's got every single attribute you could want. He checks every single box. He's 6'6", 215 pounds, has the build of an NBA guard. Really reminds me a little bit of Cade Cunningham when he came out of Oklahoma State. He can go either way, finish with either hand, over you, around you, Euro step, however you want him to. He's just a really, really polished prospect, and he is elite in the pick and roll. Like right here, this is a great split, get downhill, and punch on him because the Notre Dame defender jumps a little bit too high. He's got to be foot to foot with the screener. He's not, and even for a split second that he's not, Dylan Harper's going to split that all day long and go right by him. This is next level right here. Getting into the paint and then hitting a tough fadeaway at a moment's notice, at the snap of a finger, being able to knock this down. Such a tough shot for, this is like his 5th game in college too, by the way. This is really early on. Getting around the screen, quick in and out, and then gets to his spot downhill just because he's bigger than the defender, which is going to happen a lot. And then the defender tries to jump this screen right here, and he's just going to take it the other way. A quick crossover, and boom, he's got the guy beat as he tries to jump this screen. Now he's got a one-on-one with the big, and he's already got some momentum, so he's going to go right by him and get to that lefty lay with ease. And also, he can do stuff like this, just stopping and popping in transition. Now, it is a little bit concerning because on the year, he shot 33% from 3, but in conference, which is, you're supposed to shoot higher in conference because you're developing, you're settling in, he shot worse from 3 at 30%. And if you take Harper, that leaves you with 3 guards that all shot 32% or worse from 3 this year. And then, of course, a 41-year-old Chris Paul, who is ancient at this point. De'Aaron Fox, yes, he was battling a finger injury all year long, so we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He had been shooting it better. He'd been on an upward trajectory throughout the year by year of his career. From 3, last year wasn't great. He played 17 games in San Antonio, averaged less than 20 points on 45-27 shooting splits while taking 5.5 attempts per game. Not ideal, but like I said, the finger was bothering him. You can work with it, and he shot 38% from 3 the year before that in Sacramento. With Sacramento last year, he averaged 25, 6, and 5, a steal and a half per game, and still the efficiency wasn't great. 47% from the field, 32% from 3. But as I said a couple of times in this video, don't want to sound repetitive, he was on an upward trajectory throughout his career. He's still great at getting downhill, one of the premier slashing guards in the league. So De'Aaron Fox obviously is a great 1-2 punch with Vic, with Stephon Castle, who just won the Rookie of the Year award, back-to-back Rookie of the Years for the San Antonio Spurs, by the way. And Castle is just an incredibly athletic guard, averaged almost 15 points a game, little under 4 rebounds, a little over 4 assists with a steal in about 27 minutes. Only 27 minutes. And he is a highlight reel waiting to happen. He's still just 20 years old, will be 21 next season. And man, he is fun to watch. 43% from the field. But again, the big issue here is shooting from beyond the arc. They're going to have to go out and get some shooters and hope De'Aaron Fox gets back to his old self because he shot 28% from 3 last year, Stephon Castle did. Now, for the last 30 games of the year, the numbers were really good, and that's why he won Rookie of the Year right there, were those numbers where he kind of dominated once he got handed the keys, once Wembenyama and De'Aaron Fox were gone. 46% from the field and 30% from 3 during that time period. And yeah, the posters were abundant this year. You didn't have to watch long, and Stephon Castle was putting his nuts in somebody's mouth. It was ridiculous this season. Just mounting somebody at the rim, as my boy Who's Next would say on TikTok. If you know, you know. Now, we got to get Wemby some help, right? they had a solid team. They were 500 this year. After going 5-33 through, 38 games last year, they were 19-19 this year through 38 games. And we don't want to have another situation where you have a star in a big market and there's just no help. He put up some really big numbers last year on 48% shooting from the field and 35% from three on 9 attempts per game as a 7'4" alien. Ridiculous stuff. There were games like November 13th where he dropped 50 with 6 boards, 2 assists, and 3 blocks and just took Alex Sarr straight to the woodshed out back. I mean, Alex Sarr didn't have a prayer in the world of guarding this man on this night. And then, he had some other signature performances like the game on Christmas Day where he dropped 42 in the Garden on New York on a team that's now in the Eastern Conference Finals. Wemby walks in there with his squad, his 15-14 Spurs, and drops 42, 18, 4, and 4 in 40 minutes of elite basketball from Mr. Wembenyama. And just the flashes of potential, the excitement for San Antonio fans is going to be fantastic next year. He's pulling from the logo. He's 7'5" and raining threes from the logo. 16 of 31 from the field, 6 of 16 from beyond the arc in this game from the Chase logo. I mean, Cat's like, what do I do? What do I do? You're going to get a rebound snagged on top of your head is what you're going to do right here. And then just being able to face up and get to his spot and hit a fadeaway for a 7'5" guy. And then just imagine if the Spurs decide to trade this pick for a guy like Giannis, package it up with Giannis. You get Wembanyama at 7'5", doing things like this, paired with a 6'11" superhuman that goes downhill like he has beef with the rim. And if you put these two together in the same offense, I have no doubts it'll work. I'm not worried about spacing because Wemby can make it rain from beyond the arc. And then Giannis getting downhill. We're talking about the guy that is the 3rd best player in the league right now, kind of consensus behind Jokic and SGA, putting up 30, 12, and 6.5, paired with a guy like this who is 7'5" and can knock it down from the Chase Center logo. The defense in this front court would be ridiculous, and the offense would be unstoppable. This would be scary. The league cannot allow this to happen. A big three of Fox, Wemby, and Giannis, my goodness. Now, they definitely have the draft capital to make it happen. They can give you Chicago, Atlanta's future first, Boston's future first, and then they have 3 of their next 4 first-round picks. So there's a good chance that happens, and that's going to be scary. But the final option here for San Antonio would be a little bit of a reach and would be to take Ace Bailey, who I've got him graded out as my number 2 overall prospect. You see the stats right there. I have him tied right now, actually, in my grade with Dylan Harper, so I gave him the slight bump because he shot 35% from 3, 46% from the field, can get to his spot, elevate, and celebrate over anybody, tiptoeing the baseline right here. Questionable if he didn't step out of bounds or not, but yeah, he's 6'10", by the way, and does stuff like that. He is extremely exciting as a prospect. It feels like there's a guy like this every 2 or 3 years that people say is the next Kevin Durant. Of course, nobody's ever lived up to that expectation, and I'm not saying Ace Bailey will, but he's a lot of fun to watch. I'm probably going to make my own video on Ace as the draft approaches because he is a stud. And then you could even go VJ Edgecombe, really. Now, VJ Edgecombe at 2 would be a little bit of a reach. You could trade down maybe with my Charlotte Hornets. Maybe Charlotte wants to trade LaMelo. They go up, get Dylan Harper, and you can trade back and get this stud at number 4 because VJ Edgecombe might be the best point of attack defender in this draft class. And then, oh yeah, he can fly and knock down the 3 ball. Yeah, this Spurs team, this is a future dynasty because there's so many options that they can do with this number 2 overall pick that the NBA has gifted them. And every single one of them points to him being a top 3 seed in the West next year. With that being said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit the like button. Leave me a comment down below and hit the subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.